welcome to Mac at Cisco. I'm Rosalie Cook. I'm the Director of Device Experience for Cisco.
Hello, and I'm Ryan Gorman, the Mac Architect here at Cisco.
During this session, we'll talk about how we are transforming workplace experience in our mature Mac Choice program. I'd like to introduce the rest of the Mac at Cisco engineering team. We have Jacob Davidson, Christopher Kemp, Jonathan Massey, and Sylvia Strauss. And I encourage you to check out Jacob's session on Cisco Zero Trust at Scale, where Jacob will share our passwordless solution for user authentication. So let's talk a little bit about Cisco. At Cisco, we have about 140,000 employees in about 500 offices, and we are located in 99 countries. We have 56,000 mobile devices, and of these, about 85% are iOS. We also have 68,000 active Windows PCs, but less than 50% of these Windows devices are used by internal employees. And we have 56,000 active Macs, and more than 90% of the Macs are used by internal employees. So you can see that our internal employees definitely favor Macs. And these numbers were similar before Mac at Cisco. We already had a very mature Mac environment and a well-established Mac program, and we wanted to make it even better. So a little bit of history about how things were before Mac at Cisco. In the beginning, we had about 5,000 Macs. Macs were community support only, no device management, just available but not really loved. Then we had a critical mass with about 15,000 Macs. We added help desk support and a little bit of device management. Then we went to a modern managed environment with 25,000 Macs, and this is when we introduced Jamf management. Then we modernized our solution and grew up to about 50,000 Macs, and this is when we added Apple Business Manager with DEP and Apple Care for Enterprise. And now we are reimagining the Mac experience with Mac at Cisco to support, engage, and empower our employees. So here are our guiding principles to make that change. Fletcher brought this up at JNUC in the past, and I think it's still true whether you're starting a new program or you're reimagining an existing program like we are. When did it become okay to live like the Jetsons at home and the Flintstones at work? Another guiding principle from Fletcher is that the state of IT is a daily reflection of what the company thinks and feels about its employees. So with Mac at Cisco, we wanted to show our employees that we care about them, and we needed a way to do that. And why is that so important? Because to grow a company, you must provide a differentiated customer experience. You only get there through employee engagement. And the fastest path to employee engagement is through the tools and experiences that they use every day. But by surveying our employees, we realized that they didn't necessarily always have the devices and tools that they needed to be successful. So with Mac at Cisco, we are showing that we care about our employees by improving those tools and experiences to drive the employee engagement and drive company success. So based on those guiding principles, our vision is to first provide modern devices and tools with a simple user experience and intuitive design, using cloud management to set up from anywhere, and ultimately enabling our employees to do their best work. So we'll talk through each of these now. Let's start with modern devices and tools. When we started the Mac at Cisco program, we made a choice to go with the best devices. All internal employees can choose high-spec M1 Pros. Our developers and engineers can choose even higher spec M1 Pros. And all internal and external employees can choose any refurbished Mac. So we're offering the best devices to drive that employee engagement. Our vision of modern devices continues with the Cisco Secure Hybrid Worker Bundle, which is currently available to new hires in select countries and with wired availability coming soon. So how does this work? Our Hybrid Worker Bundle box is shipped to the employee's home. The box contains the Cisco Meraki security appliance and wireless access point for enterprise-grade security in your hybrid work. The box also contains your Magic Keyboard and trackpad. and your Cisco WebEx desk camera and Cisco Bluetooth headset for collaboration. And of course, your Mac is also contained in the same box. Our second vision statement is about simple user experience with intuitive design. And this started with making it easy to find your devices right on the intranet homepage. So before Mac at Cisco, there was at least 5, 6, 7 clicks from the main employee intranet to find what you needed to order a new device or to get help with your device. And with Mac at Cisco, we've made it easy to find right on the main navigation of the employee intranet. So if you click on devices in the top navigation, this will bring you to our device portal. And in your device portal, you will see all of your devices that are assigned to you. So in this case, this user has a Mac and a Lenovo device. There's a tag that shows when you have an action required. So the alert could be that you are eligible for a refresh, or it could be a device health alert. You can also click the view button to see more details about your device. And in this case, you will see how to manage your device, how to get support for it, or maybe how to rebuild it. So if you're a new hire, or when it's time to refresh your device, you'll receive an email invitation like this, inviting you to visit the device portal to choose your new device. And if you click on that button to choose your device, it will bring you to a modern consumer-like experience to order your device. You'll see that Mac is the default option, but there is an option also to select a Windows device. And here you can see which device is recommended for you, maybe which devices are refurbished or the availability of the devices, and you can choose the one that's best for you. You can also then, as a new hire, add your Cisco Secure Hybrid Worker bundle to your order. And with this consumer experience, you will then get a confirmation screen that says what you've selected and what will be available. So before Mac at Cisco, there was no transparency to the user about any of this, and now it's very clear. So you placed your order in the device portal after you received your invitation, and now you'll receive a confirmation of what you ordered in the device portal. You'll also receive a shipping email where you can track your package, and you'll receive a delivery confirmation email. And this represents a 50% reduction in email touchpoints compared to the previous experience. So now let's talk about the Mac at Cisco enrollment experience, and I'll turn it over to Ryan.
Thanks, Rosalie. We're taking advantage of using Apple's automated device enrollment. Users will select their language, choose their network, and be presented with a remote management screen. We're also taking advantage of enrollment customizations and using pre-staged text pane to let users know that they will need their Cisco username and password to continue. Users will also be presented with our single sign-on and then continue through Apple's Setup Assistant. At the desktop, we immediately launch our Setup app. Here, the user can choose whether they're a new hire, whether it's a refresh, or they're just enrolling a secondary device. They can expand this selection to see more information or see the next steps. For new hires, they will open WebEx to finish their onboarding. During the remote management setup, we installed WebEx and a few other applications so they'd be available once the user reached their desktop. They'll open WebEx and sign in. Once in WebEx, we presented them with a welcome bot with some following instructions to continue their next steps. But the device is ready to use. We've given them some basic tools, and they can go to office.com to read their email or WebEx to start chatting with their team. Once we've completed the setup, we'll send them a notification through the bot with the next steps for the user to complete. They can expand the card and see the steps to connect to VPN. Once connected to VPN, they can go on to their next step and reset their password. That's it. They're done. Everything they needed to know was right here in the bot. Setup is complete. We'll send them a new notification with a few more links. But if they need help, they can say, I need help, and we'll connect them to a live Mac at Cisco advisor who is an Apple expert to help them. A new space will be created for the Mac with the Mac at Cisco advisor and the user to interact and get support. If they need more detailed instructions, they can click the link in the bot. There's also a link provided in the insert in the box or in the hybrid worker bundle with a QR code that will take them directly to more detailed instructions. The detailed instructions guide is just step-by-step instructions through the same process we automated. They'll install their essential tools. They'll connect to VPN. They'll reset their password. They'll get more information around how to get software and where to go for support, and more information about Mac at Cisco. Now, the new device is managed in Jamf Cloud, but we also needed to get the rest of the existing fleet migrated to Jamf Cloud. This is a manual process. Users had to take action. Here's how we did it. We sent emails inviting users to join. We sent reminder emails about joining. After a few emails, we started to prompt directly on the device. Because there needed to be user interaction, we used an application to help streamline this process. Migration application launches. They enter in their admin password, and in the background, we are removing Jamf's framework. Once complete, they will do an over-the-air enrollment inside the application. The single sign-on is presented. We detect when the MDM payload is downloaded and help guide the user through the process to install the MDM profile. User will approve the installation of the MDM profile. Once installed, and we present the user a complete message. And then we show them self-service. This was a slow process in the beginning. We sent out reminders and had bigger engagement. Then the remainder required frequent pop-ups. This process was slow. Here's why it's important to migrate everyone to Jamf Cloud. Engineering didn't have to manage and patch servers. We didn't have to do bi-weekly maintenance. That gave us more time and effort to spend on reimagining Cisco.
Thanks, Ryan. So our last point of the vision is about enabling employees to do their best work. And this starts with providing world-class support. So we established an all-new dedicated Mac help desk that was staffed by internal Cisco employees who are Mac experts. And these are Cisco people can also schedule a one-on-one session with one of these advisors to learn more about their Mac. And this team also provides the concierge support for new hires and refresh during their laptop setup with WebEx. So as Ryan showed you earlier, if you type "I need help" in the WebEx bot, you'll be connected to one of these Mac experts. But we also have many self-support resources so that employees can solve their own problems without contacting support. We have self-help articles on our Mac at Cisco website. And we have a community where employees can ask questions to other Mac users, or they can participate in early adoption testing. So now let's look back and look forward. Our Mac at Cisco vision had 4 main points. So let's look back at each of them and talk about how we fulfilled that vision. First, it was about modern devices and tools. And we talked about how we offered the best possible devices, and we focused on hybrid work with the hybrid worker bundle. The second point is about simple experience with intuitive design. And we did this through every aspect of Mac at Cisco. We were always focused on the employee experience and making sure that we were building the best possible experience. And we also needed to preserve the Apple experience and take what's great about Mac and make sure we kept that in our Mac at Cisco experience. We reevaluated absolutely everything, every step of the experience, from the ordering to the shipping to the emails that you receive to what happens when you receive the device to how it gets supported. Every step of the process has been reevaluated. The third point of the vision was about cloud management to set up from anywhere. And in this, we really had to reevaluate our engineering team. We realized that we started with 2 Mac engineers, and this was completely insufficient for what we were trying to do. So we added a leader, a Mac architect, another Mac engineer, project management, and a QA tester. Plus, we added an entire team of UX design experts to help us to build that best possible experience. And then finally, in order to enable our employees to do their best work, it wasn't just about the Mac engineering team. This really was about the entire organization coming together to accomplish this goal, with leadership and transversal alignment to really build the best possible experience for our people. So now where do we go from here? Now we need to go back and remeasure the employee sentiment. Remember in the beginning, we said that our employees were telling us that they didn't have the tools and experiences that they needed. So now we've reinvented all of that, and we need to go back and recapture their employee sentiment. We need to analyze those metrics, and then we need to adapt. This is just the beginning. We need to now take it to the next step and build even better experiences for people. We did all of this because Cisco is consistently ranked as the #1 best place to work, and we want employees to have the best tools and best experiences to drive employee engagement and drive company success. If you'd like to learn more, here are some resources about our hybrid worker bundle, our Cisco WebEx bots, and our Duo passwordless authentication. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you.